Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the Whiskey House Pub House. Today we have something special planned, a combination of many ingredients, one would say, possibly a blending. Oh, wait, no, that has to be delayed.
That's a different combination of many ingredients.
Many ingredients. I think this time we're going to do some cocktails. Maybe something old-fashioned.
Still blending.
It's been a while
But
since we've done cocktails.
Things.
Let's get into it. We're back.
So what's so fashionable about these old drinks?
Well,
Like, is there a I don't even know the history behind the old fashioned. I don't know.
bringing up history on that, I'm not prepared.
Yeah. But because it demands to know. You know, it's like, oh, why is it called the old fashioned?
So
well,
I think I'll buy some time for maybe. I think Carter's gonna look this up for us, but I'll buy some time and spitball my memory on it.
Whatever you say is wrong.
Oh, he's using he's bringing up Yahoo.
I'm about to bing this so hard.
I believe the old fashioned is just pretty much exactly what it sounds like. It's the simplest whiskey cocktail they had in the olden times, the Westerns, and then it was granulated sugar.
Yep.
And whiskey. Mm-hmm. And that was basically it. And it was pretty much just to make the whiskey palatable. And then they
make the medicine go down a little
right.
easier.
And it's the Western times, so they don't have ice in the way that they have it 6 months out of the year, maybe, depending on where they are in the country.
Yeah.
So ice is really a luxury that most people don't have. So you would have your cocktail just
warm and sugary,
room temperature and sugary. And then I think New York, there was some places in New York that started doing variants on that, adding bitters, ice, etc. I think there was an orange variant at some point that came up, and it kind of just became known as, I'll have one of those old-fashioned, cocktails, the traditional way to have a cocktail.
Yeah.
But, it's pretty much...
I like that headcanon that you just made up on the spot.
I know.
It sounds so good.
It's
so authentic.
I am so good at making up facts.
Yep.
But
we're still waiting on the checking of the facts.
There's a lot here.
Yeah.
there's a lot there.
It's a lot of history.
Actually...
Well, there's stuff going all the way back to like
1862.
1862.
It's a old,
and then
old thing.
I figured it'd go back further.
There was a
Well, the Sazerac is older, but a Sazerac's not old-fashioned, which we talked about, I think, on our Buffalo Trace episode, obviously. But that, I forget what that had, but that had a brandy, then it went to the rye.
had absinthe in it.
Yeah, and it's got a lot of stuff in it, but it's different from just an old-fashioned, whereas an old-fashioned is simple as far as certain cocktails, I guess, being... Or it can be simple, a lot more simple. It could be a 3-ingredient cocktail. But
This says that it's possible that there was a book called Jerry Thomas's Bartender's Guide: How to Mix Drinks. It was published.
Yeah, that was in the 50s, right?
No, this was in
There was an old one.
1862.
Oh, okay.
yeah.
And it says that it's giving instructions and recipes from the early days of bartending. This book contains a recipe for an old-fashioned Holland gin cocktail. Crush, it was the same thing. So you take a lump of sugar, put it into a whiskey glass containing a little bit of water, add a lump of ice, add 2 dashes of Angostura bitters, a small piece of lemon peel, 1 jigger of Holland gin, and then mix in with a spoon and then serve.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm going to start measuring everything in jiggers.
One jigger of flour. That's not how you can't. No,
You can't do that.
I'm gonna do it anyways.
Just jig it.
One cup of water. They not.
No, I need it in jiggers, please. Three jiggers.
So, I mean, old fashioned is super old. So, and this will be the first time that we covered it. You know, we did that random cocktails, not random, but off topic for us, I guess, now. So we're finally getting to cover it. It was kind of a last minute idea that we pitched. So,
well, we've always wanted to do a cocktail episode. It's on the back. It was always in reserve for ideas,
and
we only we needed the reserve, and also we didn't even know what we're gonna do because like we all like old fashioned. So that's literally the only thing that's why we're doing specifically old fashions today, because we all like them, right? I mean, it's like, what do we all enjoy?
Collectively enjoy.
Whiskey. Whiskey cocktail number one. Old fashioned. Sugar.
There's also another thing that says that there was an article that was written by a man known as Old Timer. In 1936.
Glad to know there was old timers in 1936.
One of the original engineers.
It reflects on the years following the end of Prohibition. In the piece, the man gives makeshift recipes for cocktails, including one for the old-fashioned, consider, for instance, the old-fashioned cocktail.
What I would say is there's a very good video on this that I do definitely remember, and it's probably where I made up some of my true things that I actually said. But it's the how to drink. He did a full episode on the old fashioned, and he looked into some of the history on that. So go check that out. That's a very more in depth.
They say
review.
That James E. Pepper, he was possibly the one who created or who invented the drink in Louisville, and then he brought it to the Waldorf Astoria Hotel Bar in New York.
See, I said,
and that is apparently New York. That is apparently the birth of that drink.
See, my false facts are starting to
come together.
Be so generic that it's starting to hit some marks.
Oh yeah,
I think New York was in there.
It's all coming
Something
together.
about a cocktail.
I mean, because I don't think anyone. It's already shrouded in mystery. So if anyone actually knows the history straight up, I wouldn't even believe you. You know, if you could tell me exactly how it was made and you were like, and you knew you were correct, I'd be like, no, I don't. No,
you're wrong.
You're wrong.
Go back in time and tell us.
So the theme today of this old fashioned, because there's always got to be a theme, is we are doing the increasing of price for our bourbon that we were using in the old fashions. Other than that, the way we make them will remain the same. We are going to use some molasses style simple syrup with brown. It's got brown sugar and stuff in it. It's really good. I'll look at what the label is and let you guys know. But we are also using black walnut bitters, as well as those true maraschino cherries that are like $20 a jar.
Yep.
Fantastic. Yep. And we're gonna stir them and everything. I bought the expensive clear ice because I knew much impact. But the bourbons we're gonna be using, we're going to be starting from essentially the cheapest thing I could find at Total Wine today. That was still pure bourbon whiskey.
Yep.
Not a blend of bourbon whiskey and neutral grain spirits or something else whiskey. Not a Kessler's, not a Seymour. Yeah. But
Seymour Butts.
Does Mellocorn not count?
Mellocorn is a
bourbon.
Corn whiskey.
It's a corn whiskey.
Yeah. So
it's all corn.
Right. It's a high percentage corn finished in used barrels. It could also be new for that designation, but new and uncharred. But so the bourbon we're going to be using for the cheapest selection is Old Crow, and it's a 1.75 liter for $17.
Is Old Crow its own thing?
No, it's now owned by Jim Beam. It used to be its own distillery way back in the day, like 1800s. And at one point, it was the best bourbon whiskey in the world. It was so prized that it was actually, I forget the presidential candidate, but a presidential candidate essentially used it as a bribing piece to have people vote for him.
Yeah.
And he would say, like, you, sir, are tasting... or you are assisting in destroying the most valuable piece of my family's heirloom prized possession. But know, sir, that in trying this, you are getting something from me in trying the last little bit of Old Crow bourbon whiskey. It's actually from a book.
What an ad.
Yeah.
What an ad.
It's from the book Bourbon Whiskey, The Rise, Fall, and Rebirth by Fred Minnick.
Mm-hmm. Have you purchased that book?
I did actually purchase that, but an audiobook.
Oh, an audiobook.
An audiobook. So I listened to that, and
It's good. Yep. I was going to say something about old people, Old Crow. Oh yeah, when you were saying that this was at one point the best whiskey in the world, I was getting joked, and it still is. It's just such high volume. They have to price it this low. Have to. It's
hiding
still,
in plain sight.
Yeah, it's the best. Yeah. So.
All right. Well, I think we'll get to the first whiskey.
Get the making.
Or the
Our
first cocktail.
liquor boy today is Dylan himself, and he's gonna have some off time where he is making it. So we're on kind of a cocktail, I guess, binge. Is that the right word?
I don't know.
Just a cocktail
Kick?
just for the sake of this episode. And what I've been on a cocktail kick all week because I've been watching a show about cocktails, and I'm like, I actually haven't had a lot of these.
Zach's been watching Sex in the City.
Yes, that's exactly right. So I made a Cosmo. That's why I did
That's
it.
the only reason why I bring up.
Really, yeah.
That's the only reason
Yeah.
why I bring up Sex in the City is because that like made the Cosmo popular.
But I did try. I made myself a little Manhattan, and I really, really like the Manhattan. But that's for another episode. Last time I actually made myself an old fashioned was probably it was months ago. Because I just recently bought the ice tray for 2-inch size cubes, so I've been just using refrigerator ice for everything, for cocktail shaking.
There's
and
nothing wrong
for putting
with
it in the
that.
glass. But once you have it with the 2-inch cubed ice, it's like, well, how have I been not doing this whole time?
It is satisfying.
It's also just the math behind the proper dilution
yeah,
of the water. It's huge. And then I was looking at, like, we're having a party soon, and we're making a pre-made cocktail because we're not making.
The Jello
No, we're not doing Jello.
Yo,
shots.
Jello shots?
No,
The Tide Pod.
Tide Pod Jello shot. Yeah.
I want
no,
Jello shots.
we're doing a margarita. So
Well, that's okay too.
we're pre-making margarita mix, and one of the first rules of pre-mixing things is
Big ice.
you have to dilute it with, just water, because if you don't, you're making a much stronger drink than you are. You can't just do the calculations of the drink and then multiply it by your serving size.
I think that's okay.
Because, you can do it, but you just don't realize how much water gets put into a drink just from mixing the ice, shaking it, and then drinking it over ice if you do that. Usually you would in a margarita or an old-fashioned. But it's estimated somewhere between like 18 and 30%.
Are they individually wrapped?
Individual ice cube. That's how you know it's good. It's a proper product. Each ice cube. Not crack?
Like when you pour liquid over it?
Yep. So Dylan was just saying.
Oh, you get that lead and
want-
frost effect.
If you want your ice cube to not crack when you pour your cocktail over it in the glass you're going to drink it from, let it thaw out in the glass for a little bit. Let it
Those spheres are so
melt.
satisfying.
Let the
to look
surface
at.
area melt a little bit of the ice, and then it won't do that.
That is like one of the most satisfying things to look at. Calm down. How did you do that? What'd you do?
So Dylan is behind the bar playing mini golf. He doesn't realize it, but he's playing mini golf.
Are you too good for your home?
Go to your home ball. I really hope that we're picking up the audio
I do
of
too.
Dylan behind the bar. We almost need like a microphone suspended over. Oh, and they're all getting a cherry. This is so custom.
Yeah, I mean, you can't.
You can't have an old fashioned and not have a cherry. That's okay.
That's all right. You're screwing up on the first one with the worst whiskey.
Yeah, who cares?
We think.
Usually,
We say that
I would express it
with the garnish of the orange.
I'll take
So what Dylan is mentioning is you're supposed to use your garnish. Yeah. There kind of is though. I mean, like, yeah.
You got the butt end of the stick. Oh, that's
Thank you,
mine?
sir.
Dang it, now I can't reach it.
I'll get it for you.
I'll use my feet. Thank you, Zach.
All right, time for the review.
Oh, this is a lot. Oh my god.
No, it's not.
I mean, it's not because there's an ice cube in it, but
It smells really
smells
good.
really good.
The orange expression is just fine.
Why'd you give it to me?
What are you talking about?
Why'd you give me the orange peel?
Because I expressed yours last.
Oh, I thought you gave it to him because he didn't have like as much.
No,
Stuff.
I gave him first. I did second. You got the last expression.
Oh,
so
I see, I see.
gave
Yeah.
you
So ours smell like oranges. What does yours smell like?
Mine smells like oranges.
Yeah. So let's taste
Well, I
it.
also have an orange peel in there.
All right, taste.
Whoa, that black walnut is interesting.
It's good, but the whiskey is not coming through to me.
Not a,
No, it just tastes like sweet.
yeah. Very sugary maple.
There's no alcohol on this. I should say the once we give notes, I'll give the measurements that I did, but we just gotta drink this quick because we the limited amount.
We're running out of time on the ice.
Oh, it's super brown sugar caramel,
Yeah.
molasses, brown
Yeah.
sugar.
I think it's a. I don't know if it's actually because of the recipe or the proportions, but it just tastes so thick. You know.
I love that.
It
pretty
just
good,
tastes
yeah.
syrupy. Like that. That's really nice. Good
Oh, yeah.
mouthfeel on that.
I dig that syrup. I've completely in old fashions gone away from the regular simple syrup.
And that's specifically a cocktail syrup.
It is specifically a cocktail syrup.
I want to try making my own demerara. I really want to. Yeah, the cherry slipped in between the ice.
It's locked in there.
Then you are truly doomed.
I want to, because
Then you are lost.
when we
I can't get it.
when I watch How to Drink, he uses demerara syrup a lot, which is kind of the
syrup.
which is kind of the same thing as
Cherry.
the brown sugar, which I think it's sugar in the raw.
Oh,
Is demerara syrup.
Yes.
And then you because it's the same thing. It's unrefined sugar.
Yep.
And then you do the same thing with to make simple
So is
syrup.
that
out of it.
closer to brown sugar, or what is necessarily brown sugar?
Brown sugar is when you add molasses to white sugar.
Okay, I see.
So it's technically not related to brown sugar. It's just
I see.
raw product of sugar.
Right.
Are we doing ratings out of 10?
I suppose this is going to be. I was
going to say maybe we don't do.
We just do
ratings
1
out
to
of 10.
5.
Yeah, we'll do relative ratings. Our favorites.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I say we just do our favorites.
Because to numerically judge these is not.
Well, the problem is an old fashioned, even though it's a cocktail category, just in that category, it's like if you said bourbon, you're trying to define that set of flavors. Mm-hmm. But there's so many other bourbons, and there's so many other old fashioned.
Yeah. So this is number 1 for me so far, guys. Amazing. I mean, this is out of 1. This is my least favorite and my favorite.
That's good though.
Let me put it this way: if you got this at a bar and you ordered, say it's that $10 to $13 range that they seem to be now, what would your thoughts be on this?
It's acceptable.
That's what I would say.
I would be.
I wouldn't be disappointed. Well,
I'd be very happy because they put the nice cherry in there.
yes.
You don't usually get the cherry with the $10 old fashioned. You might get the orange peel lemon zest.
I think I would be not disappointed, but not like, wow, this is great. But
It drinks
It-
like
it's
they
good
shorted
enough.
you on whiskey. Almost,
yeah,
is how
it just
drinks.
tastes like they
Yeah,
just
but you-
put too much.
But you
simple
can
syrup.
tell that this is a better syrup, though. Like,
Oh no, for sure.
like
The
you-
ingredients
yeah.
are far superior.
Yeah.
But it's like they're saving money by the bourbon.
Yeah, they're doing it backwards.
This
where
is
they-
a well bourbon. I mean,
Yeah.
Old Crow is well bourbon.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
100%. But we had this discussion off air. Like as far as cheap bourbons, Old Granddad 80, this Old Crow,
The Bottle and Bond, Evan Williams.
Well, yeah, but I'm thinking more like 80 proof,
Oh, sure.
like El Cheapo ones that go for the floor. We haven't had much of those. We haven't had the Old Grandad on air, but that maybe be a future episode in itself. Is just doing
Best well bourbons.
or the best well bourbons, or just finding the cheapest whiskeys that are still bourbon
Yep.
on their own,
Yep.
and see how they stand up, and then maybe throw like a ringer, like a Wild Turkey 101.
Like a 101, like the winner of the $20
Yeah,
bourbon challenge.
exactly. But
Yeah, no, that is a definitely acceptable. If you go over someone's house, even if I was making old fashions, I would, if I needed to make a lot of them, it's acceptable.
if I was going to seriously use this Old Crow, I should talk about the ratios first because this will lead into it. So the way I made this cocktail is I did a 1/4 ounce of this syrup, which I'll get the name, and I did 4 dashes of the black walnut, which might be a little heavy, but I really like that black walnut.
I think it gives it a nice flavor.
Oh, for sure. I did a single dash for the orange bitters, just to kind of bring up that orange note. And then I did 3 ounces of Old Crow, which will do 3 ounces for everything. And then expressed a orange peel on our drinks.
Yep.
And then added 1 of the maraschino cherries.
Mwah.
That's a pretty extensive recipe. Like
Chef's kiss.
It is.
for an old fashioned.
I mean, the ingredients used, maybe not the Old Crow, but this is what I would expect at like
a premium
premium
bar,
whiskey bar.
yeah.
It's like a steakhouse old fashioned. Like
Yeah.
it's kind of
You're
bougie.
paying like
Yeah.
$13-15.
Is it a shame that steakhouses are like some people's finest whiskey establishments too? You know, like they don't have a whiskey bar to go to. It's like, oh, well, we can go to the steakhouse and they'll have probably a nice bourbon.
Well, you're
Well,
not
I mean-
ordering old fashions from your Chili's.
Hi, welcome to Chili's.
13 beers at Chili's. Let's go.
Let's go.
I wish that was an actual book. Have you heard about 13 beers at Chili's?
No.
It's a somebody made it online where you know the Magic Treehouse series of books.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like even if you didn't read it, but like if you're aware of it, it's like that.
Mm-hmm.
Or not a magic. It's like a choose your own adventure,
Magic school bus.
but it's in the format of that style of cover.
Mm-hmm.
And it's this guy that the story. Well, the joke is this guy went to Chili's and had 13 beers at Chili's, and he started imagining he was fighting ninjas. it's a great cover art,
Yeah.
but yeah.
It's a copy pasta for another day.
it is a copy pasta.
So what I was saying after with that set of recipes and then an ingredient list, I probably, if I was going to use this Old Crow continuing forward, I'd probably bump this up to 4 ounces, maybe 4.5, just to see what that would do as far as bring out the.
Yep.
I don't even know
Yeah,
if you could actually cut through though. That
No, it
syrup
might
is
not.
so sweet, and the black walnut is so like just
Pronounced.
Yeah, pronounced and not dominating, but yeah, just pronounced. It's it would be hard for the Old Crow to push through.
And we tried the Old Crow before the episode Virgin without anything. And
It's kind of syrupy.
it's
itself.
already syrupy tasting. Like just adding more Old Crow is not pushing through the syrup flavor. You're just making more.
Yeah, and it is age stated at 3 years, so it's a straight bourbon. It is Jim Beam, a product now. It used to be National Distillers, which also used to have Old Grandad,
Okay.
but they went out of business and got sold in like the 50s.
Purchased by Jim Beam or that
Purchased
they...
by Jim Beam's parent company at the time.
Okay.
But yeah, not too bad.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, best one so far, as they said. So
Round 2.
round 2.
So going forward, do we want to maybe get some
Clampies.
clampies, tongs to get the ice cubes out and rinse
Uh,
the glass? Because we're going to want to rinse these, but not with the ice in it. So if we want to remove the cubes. Or we can all come
It
up.
depends how serious you want to get.
I'm not that serious.
My thought is the things that we can't drink out are mostly syrups anyways, which is going to be just
reused.
Continue
Kind
Yeah.
of agree.
Okay,
So that's my opinion.
I'm fine with that. We can
cool.
we can make an evolution, an infinity,
Infinity
old
Infinity
fashioned.
cocktail. I'm actually curious because I love old fashions. I recently haven't been making a ton of cocktails for myself. I mean, I haven't even really been drinking. Yeah,
Do
usually.
you know how
I'm a
much?
little
Do you know how
too
much
lazy.
easier it is to just pour the whiskey that you like?
Yeah, just pour it into a glass. Who cares what glass it is? Just pour it in the glass and drink it.
Yep.
Or
Yep.
let me
Or-
just pour this in a glass with.
Yep.
With some ice.
You're like us, and like you, regarding the glass comment, like I have more Glencairns than I do any other style of glass. Like,
Yeah, I have a lot.
yeah, I have like 15,
I
12
have
to
so
15.
many of them.
Mainly because you just wait for the cheap brand to go on sale on Amazon.
Sorry about Standard Cocktail Company.
If you didn't hear that, the syrup's called Pratt Standard Cocktail Company. So, do you guys, how do you pronounce syrup?
We got some syrup.
Yep. So say it again slowly.
Syrup.
Syrup. Dylan says syrup. Yep. And now I'm a seer. Syrup.
I think I go both.
Seer.
Can I get the syrup? No, I always say syrup.
Sir. Sir with a
SR. Yeah, that doesn't make sense with how it's spelled. But that's you could also make the same problem with like crayon
cranberry.
or color.
Let's get into the milk.
Color.
Don't or pillow. Oh,
What's
pillow.
Palo?
People
Oh,
call
sure.
it pillow.
I can
No,
I can see that.
Or chassis. Or
chassis.
theater.
Yo, I will I will say the way it's spelled, I did think it was chassis for a while. And whenever I saw it in writing, I was like,
Yeah, the chassis.
what is this?
Yep.
So, no disrespect to Brooklyn, I completely get it.
Not making them disrespect. I just think it's
It is funny.
Yep. I used to think the same thing. The word segue,
Segua.
segue,
Segue.
in my head for pretty much until I was honestly an adult, 18 years old.
Segue.
Whenever I'd read the word segue,
Wait, how's it spelled?
Segue.
U-E?
Yep. So there's the Segway you ride, and that's Segway. That's a Segway. But if you're talking about a segue as in a transition into another literary event
Oh.
or dialogue event, Segue.
I thought you were talking about the Segway you ride.
No. So the segue of two ideas, I always read it as Segu or Segui.
Segue.
And I just, like it's one of those things where like you're reading a book and like you don't know the words, so you just skip it. Like your entire thinking, you're like whatever.
You just go. You just kind of send it. You don't know what you're actually
You hope-
saying.
Yeah,
Speed up,
you
try to go over the hump.
yeah,
Yeah.
Just kinda
with
like,
your
It's
head.
like reading it. It's like
Yep.
reading a sci-fi
Yep.
book for the first time, and you don't know any of the words
Yep.
that they're.
or like a name that you're like,
Yeah,
I'm gonna fail on this.
or names exactly, or because like the first time you learn about context clues, like everyone's got to learn to read, and you remember when you learned to read. Yeah. And words are hard when you don't know what they are. And unfortunately, the older you get, there are still words you don't know what they are.
It's true.
You
That
say them
is
all the time,
So true.
but you don't read them because we're uneducated buffoons.
I've never seen the word segue written out before.
Really.
Never.
And that's what I'm talking about. I'm
Not
like,
in that context.
yeah, I'm like I just went through my life. Like when I see the word segui, I'm like, I don't know what that means. It's probably something to do with talking.
Segue. Segua.
So we're waiting on the next one. The next bourbon is Evan Williams.
Okay, Evan Williams White Label.
Yeah.
That's Bottle and Bond, right? I don't remember.
This is BIB.
The bib.
This
Bibby bib.
is going to kill me
Why?
because this is the one I used to buy a lot. Now it gives me headaches. It's the same as Wild Turkey 101 and the 101 Rye. I get headaches from them now. But maybe the syrup will counteract the death, the pain.
Giving us all more cherries, as a food to counteract that.
Yeah, we're getting
Yes, the small little cherry will counteract the alcohol effects.
it's calories, fiber. It's fiber. Cherries have indescribable amounts of fiber.
Strawberries
Not because of how much there is, of how little there is.
are high in fiber.
Dylan, my ball's getting smaller.
I know.
My balls are getting smaller.
If push came to shove,
I recognize that, so I was more cautious
Yep.
about the amount of alcohol I gave to you first. So
if push came to shove, I don't need a chilled old fashioned. I think it'd be okay.
Ooh, the smells
Room
definitely better.
yeah, so this is Evan Williams BIB.
I can't tell if it's the whiskey I'm smelling or if it's just like a little bit more bitters, in specifically this one.
Yeah, that's hard. I mean, there's so many notes going on with the oranges and the syrups.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to be so difficult.
They're so aromatic, though. I do love that about this drink.
Oh, yeah.
It just smells. Not necessarily like something in particular. It just smells.
Well, it just smells, I don't know, old fashions have
Intense.
such a distinct smell.
So this one, the Evan Williams Bottle and Bond price is $17.99 for a liter at total.
How is that a step up from the Old Crow?
That was a 175. So this is the same price as a liter. This is also 4 years old, bottle and bond, so it has to be at least 4 years
And 100 proof.
and 100 proof. So this is a step up in quality as well as.
And
I guess that's
year.
true.
I can taste the proof for sure.
It cuts through a little bit more. Not as sweet,
Yeah, it's like more spicy
a little bit more spicy.
from that alcohol. The taste itself, though,
It's actually not as good.
no.
I actually don't like it as much. Which I don't know if that's a testament to liking kind of sweeter things,
I think it's a testament to how sweet that old crow is.
but it was just, I don't know, just the flavors that the black walnut, because I don't taste the black walnut as much as I did in the first one, nor do I taste the simple syrup as much as I do, which those two components really pulled that together for me.
Yep. I just want to assure everyone that this is definitely the same ratios and same amounts I used.
Because you can taste it, it's just not in the same intensity.
Yep.
I don't hate it, but
alright.
I would probably bump up the syrup because I really do like that syrup taste.
It is really good.
You can. It somehow tastes thinner, because it's because the Old Crow. I swear it's constituted, it's fortified with syrup in some way.
It's got a.
They're just lying on the label. They're like, oh yeah, it's just straight from the barrel.
What do they
No,
call it when somebody changes a bourbon? Rectified.
They rectify.
It's a rectified whiskey from a rectifier. Overall, though, I mean, this is still good. This is a tough spot because here,
If this didn't have quality ingredients, it would be bad. This would not be good. That's what I'm saying.
This wouldn't
If
be.
What's saving
good
this
old-fashioned.
cocktail entirely is the syrup.
I agree.
100%. If you
Like-
just use sugar, like simple syrup, this would be gross.
If I was to buy this at a restaurant and it was normal simple syrup with just normal bitters, I'd
It
be
wouldn't-
like, this is a very low tier old fashioned, and I would not be ordering another one.
this is worse on my list. Don't get me wrong. However, I think the ratios would need to be changed, and it would better optimize this combination.
Yeah,
So to me, if I got this, it'd be more like, okay, they're using a higher proof alcohol, which I would appreciate, but it also is not as sweet.
well, it's not the
But
sweetness that's bothering me. It's
Okay.
the taste of the alcohol that's bothering me.
Okay, and I think what Zach's saying too is the mouthfeel was better on the other one, which I totally agree.
Yeah,
It'd be if you could have something that was similar to the alcohol burn and slightly better flavor, but also keep the body and the texture from
Exactly.
the first one, then we're talking.
yeah. That's exactly where I think a lot of restaurants fall short on the old fashioned. Is exactly that. Like they'll use probably, I mean, I don't think it's 100 proof, but it's just it's thin. It doesn't taste like anything really. It just tastes like kind of sweet, kind of blah. It just kind of all melds together and it does not taste right. I mean, this is
I
It's
really
okay.
wanted that cherry.
I recently had a very mid old fashioned at a restaurant, and I was like, this is This is very bad. It kind of tasted like this.
The worst old fashioned I had at a restaurant was in Oregon at a bowling alley.
Mine was also at a bowling alley.
And
Why are you ordering old fashions at bowling alleys?
because we were there at like a Tuesday at like 3 p.m. I'm like, man. It's like, we're looking for something to do. I'm like,
Let's go. Hey, first off, let's go bowling, guys.
because we were looking for something
Hey, don't
to
hate
do.
on bowling. I like bowling.
Looking for stuff to do. And Nick and I had not driven on that trip
Nope.
at all. And it's a weekend. So we're like, we knew
You were next.
it's like, it's 3 o'clock.
Yep.
We're at a bowling alley. We got nothing else going on. Let's get a couple in us.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we did. But it was Evan Williams BIB, but they used the granulated sugar cubes in regular simple syrup, and it was
They had sugar cubes and simple syrup?
That's so
excuse me,
sweet.
no.
It would just be
No, it
water.
wasn't. Yeah,
Usually they just
it was not simple syrup. It
Yeah.
was just the granulated sugar, and then
just
regular
a little bit of
bitters
water.
and-
some-
yeah.
Were you guys at the bar watch them make it?
no, but it said it on the menu.
Oh, okay.
It said old fashioned made with
This, and
and
this.
the ingredients.
the
were listed.
actual old fashioned way to
Like
make
the
it.
legitimate way they used
Yeah.
to make it.
And it had an orange peel and everything. It was
Yeah.
there was nothing wrong with it, but
Yeah, it's just not. I wouldn't prefer it.
Yeah.
One of those things.
all right. Next one.
Yep. I think we can get at least one more out of these ice cubes.
Okay.
There's
This,
still, spheres.
This one's my least favorite, obviously, right now.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely.
Bottom
Which
rung.
is kind of
Up 2
crazy to
rungs.
think about a $17 175 making a halfway decent old fashioned,
Extra
super
oaky.
oaky.
Yep. Dylan is saying that best old fashioned he's had was with an Evan Williams that he aged again with some oak staves.
I'm not. This is kind of straying from the topic, but from like speaking of best cocktails, locally here in Minnesota, we have a distillery called Norseman Distillery over Minneapolis, and I actually had the pleasure of speaking with the head distiller there.
What a pleasure that was.
Wow. Did you get us
Interview lined up.
No, I did not.
He didn't want to admit that we even had a podcast. He's just like, please don't.
I'm just like, you're really cool. I don't want to screw this up. I really like you guys. You guys are cool. Don't want to seem like a nerd.
Remind me, I have a story.
Okay. But they have a cocktail called the Roik. That probably was one of my favorite cocktails I've ever had because it was why can't I remember? It was basically like an old fashioned, but I don't remember exactly what they put in it. That's why I'm trying to find it. Oh, it's right here. Perfect. Okay, so it is their harvest whiskey, bittersweet. I don't know what that is. Maple and white oak smoke.
Okay.
So the cool part about this is that it kind of looks like a science experiment when they give it to you. So they bring it out on like a plank, and I'm assuming it's a maple plank.
It's got a dome on it.
No, it's actually got a beaker on it. It's got a little baby beaker,
Cute.
and that's what has your
Smoke.
liquor in it.
Oh.
The smoke is in an upside down glass sitting on it. So it's just constantly, it's just in that glass, like just fumigating the
Yep.
inside of it.
Yep.
And what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to flip it over and then pour the drink into it.
Interesting.
That was one of the like smokiest, like most delicious drinks I've ever had. It was so good. And it also, kind of was made better by meeting
The head distiller.
head distiller Lauren. She was super cool.
Lauren, please come on the show.
And she gave us a tour of the distillery. But yeah, like if you're ever in Minnesota and want a place to get a good cocktail, Norseman makes good cocktails.
Keeper's Heart has been pumping out new stuff which is nice to see, but also I haven't tried any of it, and also I don't want to because they're like $70.
We just recently went to O'Shaughnessy's, actually.
Yeah.
It was really good.
Yep.
It was really good. I got an Irish coffee there. Dang. That was bomb. And I got a Fujinobu. It was like a pineapple-y, like weird. It had like almost a meringue on the top of it. They literally gave you a spoon to drink it with. Because you're supposed to like spoon the top of like the foam off.
Yeah.
And it was like foam
Thank you,
and coconut.
Mm-hmm. I can just tell this is gonna be the best.
Like a lemon
It's gonna be the best
yuzu.
one.
Does Norseman have the Viking logo on it? On the bottle?
No.
No? Okay.
Are you sure you're not thinking of... No, Rocknar doesn't have that either.
Nope.
No, it's not Rockner.
No, theirs just says Norseman.
Just straight up.
I think it just straight up
In a
says
funny
Norseman.
in a funny
Distilling.
font. I was looking at someone sent me a brand of pool cues,
Interesting.
and they're Viking themed. They're Viking brand pool cues.
It's actually kind of cool. Like the team? Or like
No,
Viking as
Viking
in like
as
the
in
people?
Norse Vikings, and they use this really funny looking font, and it's just over the top, I guess, I mean, they do seem like a very premium, high quality billiards cue manufacturer, because like they make this one cue that is made with like mahogany with pearl inlays.
Wow.
And stainless steel gold collars and super fancy, and it's like $1,500
Good lord.
for a pool cue.
That's bougie.
Yeah, Norseman is not the one I was thinking of.
Yeah, this is... I don't think that's the one you were thinking of.
All right.
This is Henry McKenna.
Henry
And this
McKenna.
one?
We got, this one we have the Henry McKenna 10.
Also, Norseman does make a lot of stuff.
BIB.
They make a ton of stuff.
Mm-hmm. This was a little more whiskey forward.
Oh, yeah. This is less peppery
Oh, yeah.
and way more... It's a... What fruit is that?
Plantain.
That is a very... Not obscure, but just kind of like... Not what I would think.
I think it's cantaloupe.
Cantaloupe.
Cantaloupe. From the orange. I think the orange is combining with like a general sweetness.
You say it,
And
I,
like
I
the
taste
whiskey.
it. I taste it too.
I don't
know
like
if that's what I would have come up with, but because you're saying it, I'm like, oh yeah, totally cantaloupe.
Cantaloupe.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like,
Is that the same thing as honeydew?
Same family,
no, I think they're different melons. I think
They are different melons?
I think.
but it is a melon.
Yeah,
Because I don't like
They're all-
cantaloupe.
there's 3 melons.
I got no
That
problem
I
with
know
cantaloupe.
of.
There's a watermelon, and there's a...
There's a fire melon.
and then there's an earth melon, and there's also an
air melon.
And then when the fire melon attacked, everything changed.
Let's be real though. Have you seen the square ones from Japan?
Yeah, those are cool.
Those are awesome.
They're so expensive if you buy them here. They're so expensive.
I mean, you'd think they'd be a little bit cheaper to ship because they're more, ergonomic, because they're perfectly volumetric for shipping containers, right?
It's genius. I never thought about that. You can
ship,
palletize.
Yeah,
that.
you can ship more of them per
Stick 'em on
square
the
volume.
pallet.
Exactly. You'd save a fortune on ship, but the weight would actually be more though. So
Would it? I mean, I
Well,
guess
it-
it's just
well-
kind of condensed.
Well, that's why
Yeah.
you have to pallet.
Yeah, you
have
get
to
to wrap them.
palletize it.
Yeah, we wrap them
Yep.
with
and put them on the ship for 3 months.
And they get a nice little bit of sea spray on
Yeah.
them, and they taste delicious.
No rot.
A little bit of rot.
A little bit of rot.
a bit of rat. And then
Day in the life of a true Brexit geezer.
well, I'm just thinking that you remember when COVID started and they had just tons and tons of tankers and ships just on the coasts of the world because
Stuck.
Yeah,
The
because
Suez Canal incident too.
well, that too. But I
Yeah.
just mean because there was no one to unload these ships because they
Yeah.
were homesick or just not
Or
working
just not
because
working.
of COVID.
'Cause they're being... Yeah.
If there was just a bunch of pallets of food and melons, because there was, like how
just
much went to
rotting
waste
melon.
and what that would have been like to unload those ships.
That probably
of
would have
just-
stunk.
Because now they're garbage, right? It's no different than shipping a boat full of garbage to Malaysia.
$20
except the other way around.
I bet they just dumped them overboard. Because, I mean, it's wood.
Yeah.
It's going to it's biodegradable anyway. It's
Unless
just huck it in the
unless it's
ocean.
treated stuff.
I guess it's true. It's most likely treated. But just huck it in the ocean. No one cares because the fish are going to eat it.
No one cares.
No one cares. Sounds like a too ecological
Sounds
terrorist.
like a very ecological terrorist.
or, I don't know, polluter.
Yeah, we're an anti-ecological sympathizer. We sympathize with those who don't care.
I just don't care.
We are ecological apathists.
My apathy is strong.
They don't even have
This is so good,
Henry
guys.
McKenna on Total Wine. I just wanted the price.
Yep. And that's where I got this one from. It was $55.
Oh, man.
They raised the price
That
by...
price jump sucks.
I know. But it was
Wasn't
still
it
worth
like
it to me. I was
40?
like...
No,
Okay.
sometimes it used to be in the 30s.
Yeah.
But 40. Yeah.
That was.
I remember
that
it
was the
being
solid
like around
price.
40-ish.
I've seen it for 60 now. Man. And for that, it's like...
It's not even. It's almost not even worth it. Like, it's really good, but it's almost not even worth it.
It's becoming...
You're inching there.
It's got the Blanton's effect to it now.
Yeah, it's got the Blanton's effect.
I like it more than Bland's though, so we're still good. We're still Gucci.
I
We're still
accidentally
good.
bought two. I didn't know about the price increase yet. And I went to my liquor store and I found them. I'm like, you know what? I'll get two.
Yep.
And they ring it up. That's $120, sir. I'm like, what the heck?
Yeah.
And they were, what, like 60 apiece?
Yeah.
60 per, yeah.
I'm like, oh.
That's what it was. That we stopped at Viking Liquor. I think you were with me, but yes, it was $67.
For a Henry McKenna?
Yeah, I'm like, no,
Yeah.
sorry, no.
Dang, yeah.
The
I would-
cost of the 10-year age statement. But that being said, this is the best old-fashioned yet.
I'm excited for the Elijah Craig and the other one.
I don't have faith. I don't think those are gonna be better.
No, I don't think they're going to be better, but I'm interested to see
Yeah.
what the higher proof is going to do.
Because that's the
cutting
problem is
through.
we're gonna run into alcohol problems.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's gonna cut through, and it's gonna take the, it's gonna take the sweetness away from the drink.
Right.
So it's gonna kind of
The
not
nuance,
ruin.
the nuance of the cocktail and the orange and the general things you enjoy from the cocktail are going to be overpowered by just the alcohol spice.
Yeah, and the nice thing with this one, different from the Evan Williams, you can still taste the syrup.
Yep.
And you can still taste the black walnut, and it blends very well together.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. This for me is a little tough because I do really like the body of the Old Crow because the syrup was dominant in there, or at least that's what it seems like. And I really like that. This one is the most well-rounded and a perfect balance of the two.
it's almost a shame that you can compare the two pretty close.
It is kind of
It's like,
sad.
for the price. You're
Right.
like, it's like whoa,
Like a $17 whiskey to like now a $60 whiskey.
yeah.
That's kind of
Because
crazy.
so like this glass costs what $4 to make. If you factor in Henry McKenna's price, I mean we don't have to do all the math, but if the syrup was $15, right, or how much?
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. And then your
And
cherries
and
are $20
$20
for a jar.
Yes, using one cherry.
And
Plus what,
your
15 up
your
for
bitters
the
are say
Angostura?
$8 to $10 depending on what you're getting.
Yep.
Maybe.
So
It
using
depends, yeah.
a 75-cent cherry, a 50-cent portion of but your bitters is probably like a quarter portion, like quarter
Oranges.
a cent.
2 oranges.
Yeah.
Was
$10?
$5.
5.
Oh my god.
Yeah, partly because there was a line. Believe this or not, there was a line at the orange stand,
Mm-hmm.
What?
and I'm like, screw this, and I bought the organic ones.
Yeah.
'Cause I'm like, I don't have time for this.
Yeah.
Well, you did get the big boys.
Yeah.
Well, I was either that or like
Cuties
grapefruits or
or
yeah,
grapefruits.
which is not.
Grapefruits would
Not
not
the
taste
same.
good.
They don't have.
I have
the-
wondered about cuties though. If using
No,
those,
they
for,
don't. They don't have the spray.
Okay,
They're rubbery. They still.
Oh.
I mean, they still smell like oranges when you have them in the glass, but they don't go. They don't have the spritz effect.
I really want to do a thumbnail for the podcast audio, and obviously, if you're listening to this, if I end up doing it, you'll see it before. But I want to do a garnish with it, but instead of doing like a nice garnish, I want to just cut the orange in half and stick it in there for full orange and use it as the thumbnail, and then do an Instagram post with it. Just be like, doing old fashions tonight on the podcast, garnishing for effect.
Yeah.
There's a huge orange in there.
But I'm gonna ask the question again. How would you feel if you bought this at the bar
I'd be so happy. I'd be
and
like,
then
this
rating this?
this met all my expectations. So, well, actually, it exceeds all of my expectations for a bar old fashioned. So, yeah, this is my favorite one so far.
Okay.
If every old fashioned was as good as this, there would be less wars fought. Peace would.
This would be like Kylie Jenner giving the cop a Pepsi.
Yep. Exactly.
This is the equivalent to that. This is perfect.
Yeah, I got no complaints with this. This is definitely the best rounded one we've made so far, and
It definitely goes Henry McKenna.
this is top one. So I guess
Old
recap.
Crow.
Yep,
And then Evan Williams.
me too. Yeah, Henry McKenna,
completely agree.
Old Crow, and Evan Williams, VIB.
Do we know what the proof is on the next one? Is it like 120?
I'll read it off, but it is the
B521.
yes. So
Yeah, that's
if
right.
you know that, then you know that. But I, once again, am the slow one to drink my alcohol.
I usually drink it faster at this point because then what happens? I hate the clinking sound of it rolling
I love the
around in the
clinking noise.
glass.
The clinking sound kind of
It's like a weird audio.
Well,
like,
because
cue
the
for
ice
me.
is so heavy, I'm always afraid it's gonna break the glass.
I could see that.
Because I've done that, but not with ice. Not ice in the glass. That's never happened to me before. But I have had a glass in a glass. It was a shot glass in a tumbler, and I broke the tumbler.
Were you doing a?
I was
Really?
I was just walking up the stairs because I was bringing them to the sink.
Oh,
to,
you were just to clean them?
it was a cleanup. So I just was going up the stairs. Kung kung kung, break,
What?
shattered.
The ice did that?
No.
Oh,
a
the shot glass.
in a
Oh,
tumbler.
yeah.
But I guess that's also because it's kind of
Glass on glass. This is glass on glass, guys.
glass on
Yeah.
glass.
Kind of changing the subject, but this is when inevitably we do the blending episode. What do you guys think about these glasses?
Lovely. I think they're a little thick, but
And if
I like the colors, and I like we got some Glencairns with custom engravings on them and of our logo, and
Yeah.
they turned out great. So, Dylan, who did this?
It was
Like an Etsy guy, or
no, it was crystal imagery.
crystal imagery? Are these crystal glasses?
No,
Okay,
no, that's
Shout
just
out Crystal
These are just glass.
Imagery.
These are I did a black one with the logo that you'll see on the podcast thumbnail. And the other side says Master Blender of 2021 DT. It's a callback to our blending episode we did like a year and a half, 2 years ago. And then we have the new one for our upcoming episode that says Master Blender of 2022.
we're gonna Sharpie the initials. on
I'll get a knife and I'll go. And that one's a nice blue. So.
Mhm.
I
Yeah,
do
I'm-
like the colored
Big
Glencairn.
fan of the blue.
I still want to buy a couple of the color Glencairns.
Well,
Just because they're kind of fun to have.
and I figured that, we all have Glencairns, and we have, you guys, at least Gabrielsons have engraved ones.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I can't, this is Master Blender. Like one a year we'll do of these.
Yep.
We got to put some cash in this and get some colored glasses in here because no one else has some colored glasses.
No one.
Just
So-
wait. I'm going to come back with 8 color
So I bought the
glasses
rainbow.
now.
I bought the rainbow package. got
I
all
bought
of them.
all of them.
How much? I have seen that. Is that like it's like $60?
I think on Glencairn's website it was like $60, yeah.
Yeah, that glass was 50.
Just straight up.
You owe me $25, Carter.
Wait.
Each glass is $50.
Each glass was $50?
Yeah, because
You spent $100 on 2 Glencairns that you could get for like $10 a piece?
Not with the engraving though.
not in the color.
Yep.
I guess the color.
I think I do think you could have found a less expensive one that did both, but
Well,
these turned out.
If I
And
bought-
I wouldn't trust.
if you bought like 2 or 3 of these, the price drops by like 20 to 30%.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's the problem is we bought one,
Yeah, at a time.
and I also did like this was an extra $6 just to have the text on the side that says Master Blender,
Yep.
Gotcha.
and then so the glass itself was like $30
Well, that's not bad.
with you get one free image on it, but you could buy the glass with just the text, and that was like in the teens or 20s.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
You know,
and then shipping
and shipping
was like $15.
Yep. I don't think that we got super screwed.
No.
You're just buying one of one. Like, you need more than one product to offset the cost.
It's not at all that it's like, we got screwed or anything. It's just that was expensive.
Oh yeah,
But the thing is
it's
that
for
it's
the master blender.
Skin in the game.
Yeah.
Money in
well,
the
no,
game.
it's because they came out really well. I'm happy that the picture came out.
And this
really
is why
well.
I did it, because I'm like, I don't want to make a custom Glencairns. Like, this is when I'm going to test it and just see for the master blender glasses that we have in collectively done. This was the time to test it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm amazed how well it came out. It's so well, you can see Carter's emotion.
You can see my
in his
creepy little
face.
face.
And you can see my mustache. Like, that's how well it turned out. And for that, I'm
grateful.
Your money was well spent.
Yep. And just know, Carter, that the next winner doesn't have to pay the next $50 or $25 share. So
that's a good point.
That's the thing, is the incentive to win the challenge
Yep.
is to not spend $25.
Exactly. Just think about that when you make your blend.
Yeah.
And I think your liquor boy is going to be in the next one, so there's a little bit more incentive.
Also very bad.
No, it's the same.
We're good. It's just the three of us.
It's still.
I'm also very bad at making blends.
That's fine. This is why we're doing these challenges. It's fun.
It is kind of fun.
And it's a learning experience. Because inevitably, it's like we're getting to a point in the price history of alcohol or whiskey in general where everything is dang expensive.
I was thinking about that. Like, we need to do a $30 scotch challenge.
And you can't find a $30 scotch.
You can, but
they're trash.
a lot of the $20 that we did,
that's
now
what they are.
the $30 range.
Yep. So the price inflation of these things, wouldn't it be so nice if you could continue to find the more inexpensive stuff, combine it, and then have a greater product than the sum of its parts. That's the goal, right? Is that you can save money still. Doug's gonna add something.
When we should do that soon though, the $30 scotch challenge, because I already have mine picked out that I want to buy.
You know what prices?
I'm like, it's gonna be good.
Now's the time, guys.
Dylan's gonna use another cop out where he's just gonna get a sale deal.
Yeah.
I have a scotch from like 5 years ago that's unopened. I have a receipt for.
Okay, that's. I mean, I guess by our other rules it would count. You have the receipt, you did buy it, and happenstance you didn't drink it this whole time, so it counts.
It was $30.
And it was $30. Yep.
I mean, Dylan does kind of make the rules.
That's okay. As long as as long as we all play by the same rules, it's just fine.
If we can play by Dylan's rules, that's all I care about.
Yeah, which is why we need to be hoarding whiskey, essentially. Like looking for deals, buying it, and
it's
just
so
sitting
hard,
on
though, when I want to drink it.
It is true. All right, so we're on to Elijah Craig now. Barrel proof, old fashioned. Ep.51 at 59.1%. So that is 118. Yes, 118.
It's got nice orange flavors.
You haven't even tasted it yet. You smelled it. This does actually smell the best, for sure.
Oh, what was crap? I was gonna say something about. We gotta get Indy on for a second tea ceremony episode.
Well, now that she's of age to drink, she's 21 now, so she's been dipping into, like, she had that. I made her Cosmo.
Yeah,
she loved it. So if we can get the fruity cocktails going, and then turn that into a good episode, she'd be totally for that.
What about no, not that.
Hey now,
you're a rock star.
This is extremely whiskey forward, but in a great way.
Yes,
in a great way.
It's the difference between a very spirit forward, like ethanol, whereas this is just boozy.
Yep.
But caramel, brown sugar forward.
Still keeps the flavors.
It's the most rich
of
so rich
of your syrup And your bitters. It complements each other very well.
It's not as well rounded as the Henry McKenna. This is more whiskey forward, but because the whiskey is Elijah Craig 12-year cask strength, it's pleasant.
I really like this.
I unfortunately would never make a old fashioned out of this.
I would, because I don't want to drink this straight anymore. Because
Really?
Well, because I have 3 other Elijah Craig barrel proofs that I all like more than that one.
Oh,
in particular. And I don't feel remorse over drinking them. So, and especially this one. So I don't have a problem mixing this guy, and specifically this bottle. I'd go to town on it.
Well, Zach, you found your new mixer until you run out.
Yeah, well, yeah, either that or yeah, both those two are mine. The Henry McKenna and the Elijah Craig. I mix both of those in a lot of things. Because right now the ones I drink straight are rye whiskey and Texas whiskey. That's what I've been doing.
Yeah.
I have not been drinking bourbon straight recently.
I actually did for the first time in quite a while yesterday, and it was Henry McKenna cask strength, because it is so caramel forward, brown sugar, oak. That's what I love about bourbon, because it is the over emphasis flavors and none of that sugar sweetness. This has sweetness in there, but it's natural sweetness. Whereas I find a lot of MGP bourbons and stuff has a simple syrup more forward sweetness with fruit notes. I don't like fruit notes.
You like woody, kind of sugary.
Right, but even candy too. I don't like, with the exception of taffy, I don't like Skittles. I don't like peach rings or very sweet sugars that are impersonating fruit. I like the caramels, chocolates, marshmallow, toffee, that stuff.
Yeah, you like pastries, pastry tastes.
And to me, Elijah Craig cask strength, their additions that come out, is the essence of that. And then also Woodford Reserve Double Oak. It's like s'mores.
Woodford Reserve Double Oak makes a mean Manhattan.
This is so boozy, guys.
It's really boozy.
This is intense.
This is the proof on that cocktail using the Old Crow must have been in the 20s, high 20s. This is probably still in the 50s.
Yeah, this is wiping the sweat off your brow. Hot.
This is boozy. You kind of feel it now, but it's really good.
It's really good, guys.
It is really good.
2 of these might, a full one of these.
That do you in.
Oh, you're done. One. That's great though. It's a 1 and you're done. You don't even need a second drink. You feel. I would feel completely satisfied with a full drink of this.
Dang, I might have to do that when I get home.
Are we jumping in proof again, or are we going down in proof after this?
That is a good question. I'll have to confirm on that, but I do believe we are jumping.
Really?
This is a lower Elijah Craig.
Yeah, this is the lowest.
That's
one
true.
in
That
a
is a
long
lower
time.
Elijah Craig.
Which is crazy.
59%.
Right. It's crazy. It's not even 120.
It's not even 63 proof.
I am truly impressed how little ethanol.
Flavor.
I mean, there isn't ethanol on this.
No nail polish.
I
no
really don't
varnish.
taste it.
I for sure thought there was going to be a little, even a hint of it coming through on the cocktail. And it's out there.
Nope.
No.
It's as evident as the Henry McKenna.
Mm-hmm. Just, I think it's a little bit stronger. Definitely more potent.
Mm-hmm.
But, you get much more of the boozy flavor forward on this than you do with the Henry McKenna.
Yeah, I get tons of cocoa brownie.
Oh.
Like a brownie
Ooh, yeah.
straight up
This
off
is
of
so
this
good.
thing.
Like a dark chocolate or just...
No.
No?
Well, not dark cacao. I just mean milk. Yeah, milk chocolate. It's a creamy brownie chocolate cake.
This is a perfect mixture between that bourbon, which we've said it is already kind of towards those notes,
Yeah.
and the black walnut bitters,
Yep.
and this Demerara molasses syrup.
Yep.
They all mix so
This
well.
this
my
is the
goodness.
greatest combo so far, for sure.
Yeah.
And if we're almost doing a disservice to the listener because we're using such good syrups, because if we had done regular simple syrup and just regular Angostura bitters, might not be as good. Well, it wouldn't be as good.
It would push
and it
the-
would maybe change our ratings.
Oh, yeah, it probably would.
Because I think the Henry McKenna with regular stuff would taste better
Yeah.
than this with regular stuff.
Well,
That's-
it would cut through the other ingredients a lot more because they're
Mhm.
not going to be nearly as flavorful.
I was gonna say the exact same thing. Is my viewpoint was that this syrup being being a syrup and not grain sugar like a cube, it blends the whiskey together with the other ingredients where it's very cohesive.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas like anytime I've had sugar cube with alcohol, it's like it just settles on the bottom with the granulated sugar. And so it's like you have to wait till the very end of the drink to finally get any sweetness.
Or
And it's
stir it
still-
every time you drink it.
Yeah, and then it's still just different, but then it's like it never blends together the same. It's just like all of a sudden you'll be like, oh, hey, there's a couple of sugar
It's like, wow, that's
granules
really
there.
strong, syrupy.
But I mean, can we take a minute and just appreciate the ice that we're using?
That's some good ice.
This is. I went out of my not really out of my I went out of my way to go to the freezer in the Total Line.
the
and
one that's right
spend
next to the register.
$20 in ice.
$20 in ice.
Yeah, it was
We'll get you
$12
back, yeah.
for the cube packed,
Mm-hmm.
and like another $8 for the circular ones, which is like a 6-pack.
Yeah. Probably should have done the cubes. Just,
Well, my thought was I'll do the cubes and the mixing and
Yep.
the spheres
for
and
the
the glasses.
Yeah, for the serving.
Yeah.
That's a good call. And I was looking up.
You don't want to mix your ice.
Yeah, you can't be mixing ice. This brand. I was looking this up because I knew they have shaped ice at Total Wine, but I'm like, how do you know what store retailer is going to sell you?
I was trying to
shaped
figure it
ice?
out. Like I knew
So-
I've seen it, but
So I found Minnesota Ice is the brand of this ice, and they retail. It's metro area and Duluth. That's their retail shops.
That's it.
If you don't go there, you still have to be in the metro area. You can custom order ice,
No way.
and you have to pick it up at their St. Paul
I was gonna say,
facility.
like, I can have it delivered.
No,
I was gonna be like, oh my god,
like, wait a
this is
sec,
game
what?
changer.
Yeah, no, you have to pick it up.
Game
I didn't see a
changer.
delivery
Dude,
option.
ice
Dude, if I could
delivery.
get a batarang shaped ice cube, that would be dope.
Just
Yes, but
it's-
what?
okay. What's that?
I know it's kind of random, but that'd be kind of
No,
cool.
what-
Imagine a bat-shaped boomerang.
I was
in
gonna
a
say
glass?
there's
What
a
It would be perfect for a highball glass.
No, it wouldn't. It's curved.
I guess. I mean, it would fit, but it'd be weird.
Be like up
And-
here.
Yeah, but I was gonna say there's a murder mystery where someone kills someone with an icicle, and then they can't find them with a
Carter's
weapon.
ordering murder weapons.
Yeah, because the batarang. So you just get him in the neck.
And then it
Done.
melts,
It
and
melts.
you never know.
Never know. Except for the puddle of water right next to their body.
There's a puddle of water. What could that have been? It's like some Nancy Drew book right there.
Yeah.
No, but like ice delivery, even if it's just a winter, that'd be pretty sweet.
It would be.
Give me my shaped ice.
It'd be easier too because you could just here in Minnesota, for 4 months, 3 months, you could be like, yeah, just leave it on the doorstep. It's not gonna melt.
How do you feel about so I had those ice molds for the clear ice. You know, it only did 2 at a time, and it took a day. It took
Yeah.
24 hours. So like if I was going to have a case where I needed or wanted clear ice, like I'm gonna make
Gotta do
cocktails
it the prior day.
a week,
Yeah.
because I mean, otherwise you're only making 14,
Yep.
and it takes a lot of planning ahead. From that standpoint, and there's that initial buying cost you have to get for those molds and there's like a little foam cooler, and you
Yep.
can do it on the cheap. You could buy a little foaming cooler
Yep.
and fill it up, with like 2-3 inches of water and wait a day, and then you cut it all. So you could do that on the cheap. but there's a little bit of initial cost to get in. I mean, it's probably not a great thought for me, but like I totally think that
It's
You could
comparable to buy the
shaped
ice.
Yeah.
I just buy the ice.
Yeah.
Because like
So it's $20 for 6.
no.
12?
The cubes
Yeah.
are 12 packs.
Yeah.
Those are $12.
Okay.
The spheres are a 6-pack, and those were about 8.
Oh,
I spent 20 collectively.
totally.
That's
Okay.
not bad, honestly.
I understand.
You
Yeah.
wouldn't have to use the square ones for mixing. However, I knew we didn't have time to freeze and get ice
Ice,
cubes. Also, if your water is not the best, this is guaranteed.
And
that
that's why this company I think is in business is because of their
Yeah.
their marketing of
And obviously for podcast
awesome
testing, we wanted to have a very controlled
environment. Yeah, we can't be using tap water. Can't no spring water either. You know, the spring water is great.
none of that fridge
Best
ice.
flavor. Yeah, fridge ice.
No.
We need a controlled filtered ice from Minnesota Ice. This episode is brought to you
It is not. Please do not do
By
that.
Minnesota Ice.
by Minnesota Ice. Please sponsor us, please.
Officially.
Officially.
I got my Porsche.
Yep.
Did you guys get your Porsche?
Yeah. I ordered a Bugatti.
Oh, I see.
Rev
Man.
up the Bugatti.
This sponsorship share must have been a lot more than mine. We should probably think about endorsing ourselves on our podcast.
Yeah,
and
well, because
actually-
I'm sponsored by the Square and the Spheres,
Whoa.
not just the Spheres.
I only signed up for the spheres.
You're sponsored by Square, bro? That's
And
crazy.
Square. No, but they also make those heated molds where you have a big chunk of ice that fits into essentially it's a two
Are you
system.
talking about like the copper ones?
Yeah, and they have little heating things that the top one rotates and spins and carves out the circle.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it'll put a mold or design into it.
Yeah, so those take like 5 minutes.
Yeah, do you see how expensive those?
Yeah, those are like
I've always
65, right? Bucks.
It depends on the design. I've seen some that are upwards of $200.
Yeah, but you
Yeah,
get the
they're
ones that just make spheres
expensive.
though. Like they have ones that they just make. You take a cube and it makes a sphere. And I think those are like $60. That's something you could do.
It would almost
I
be worth
suppose.
buying.
So you'd have to make.
So you do it on the cheap. You buy the Coleman cooler. And you freeze it yourself.
Yeah, you could just get a big block of ice. You know, whatever.
That's true.
And
And
just
just
chop
cutting
it out.
Yeah.
Oh, it takes so much time.
I
Like
mean,
if it's
it's a sphere of ice. I don't know.
yeah, but you have to you
gotta
gotta
make
cut it,
Yep.
put it in the mold, wait 5 minutes to do it, then you have to make
Yep.
your cocktail. This is already an
You
intensive
could just take
process.
some feet pics, put on the internet, get your money, and then buy sphere ice.
Yo,
you
dude,
know?
if I get some Only Feet fans over in here, like, I mean, I do not think that was gonna hit.
$75 I'll
So
spread my toes.
Wasn't because you combine two services.
Only Feet is just gonna hit
Only-
so hard.
You did OnlyFans and then
and wiki feet together.
Only Feet is
Only
gonna hit.
feet.
My Only Feet subscription, $50 a month. It's gonna hit so good.
that's cheap.
That's
I think. I'm not sure.
how many pics do you take per month?
4.
More than that, like 1 million.
It's all yeah.
It's all
It's a live stream of his foot all
yeah.
the time.
It's while I'm sitting working
He's
and I'm
working. It's just the camera set up by his feet,
Just
just capturing his ankles.
just
because he's got a
tickling my
standing desk.
toes.
He's just at a standing desk. Sometimes he'll like do a pose, like
Oh.
just like
No.
Moving my toes around, just like, oh yeah.
That's worth at least $60. You can't be
Yeah,
charging so little like
you're getting
that.
gypped. You're shorting yourself.
Yeah.
Okay, $75 a month for my
To buy
Only
to buy
Feet.
60 spheres of ice, 2 a day.
That's
I mean, what does that do?
that's just like description is like I'm only doing this because I need to buy cocktail ice.
That does not set me back any.
I'm putting like measurable amounts of money worth of ice in my whiskey cokes. I'm going broke.
I'm going broke. Help me, please.
Okay, so that derailed segment was brought to you by the Ledge Craig Barrel Proof. Really good. My favorite so far.
I'm still drinking mine.
Yep. I crushed mine because it's that good. It really is.
It was
that-
really good.
It was so yummy.
This, if you would not, like, this is my thought. If you got this as a bar, it's amazing. Tastes,
Mm-hmm.
I would be floored. You would not get this at a bar
No.
They
Because
would
it
give
would-
it to you because you'd never order a second drink.
Exactly. They would lose money.
Well, yeah, because you would be like partially smashed after the first
Well, 'cause
drink.
it would cost $30, and you're not going to order a $30 old fashioned.
Well, yeah, let's think about that. So what the price of Elijah Craig,
$75.
if you're doing a pour, if you're doing a neat pour
Yeah.
of it at like Whiskey Inferno,
Mm-hmm.
probably $15.
Mhm.
And then we did 3 ounces.
And that's what, for a 2-ounce pour at Whiskey Inferno?
A 1 ounce.
That's a 1
Or
ounce?
a one shot serving, which is
It might be a little bit over.
depends on where you are, because I went to Hewitt Hotel. That's where I see you guys at Snapchat, where I got Thomas H. Handy.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
they're-
How was that, by the way?
It's really good.
Oh man,
It was deceptively smooth for how high proof it was.
It's smooth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was 125 proof. Didn't taste over 100. Ridiculous.
so my question
And
is,
for being a rye, I was like, "Are you serious?"
we've talked about it before. The Stag Junior we got
Yeah.
for the Buffalo Trace tasting, or flight, I should say.
Yeah.
Looking back at that, one, I guess, do you think we actually got Stag Senior? And 2, does it almost make you feel like it's missing part of itself if it's so smooth?
For the stag,
For the
the
Stag
handy?
or the
what we
handy?
thought was stag senior.
Yeah. Does it feel like
Yeah.
it's missing part
Yeah.
of the
So-
wow factor?
Yeah, considering what I'm expecting to be a wow factor from the BTAC collection, yeah, I don't think that what we had was stag senior. It just didn't have.
Okay.
It didn't
so we're
have,
still on that.
Yeah, we're still like that. It was missing something.
Because I don't think so either. Because
Yeah.
I've had, I've seen the bottle, and so I'm fairly certain that they didn't refill it because it just doesn't taste like anything else.
Yep.
I've had Stag Senior now twice, same place, and what we had would have had to have been either the 2020
Yep.
edition, because
Yep.
they didn't release one in 2021, or a 2019 or earlier, which is unlikely.
Because it would have been drank by then.
Right.
Yeah.
So it had to be the 2020. And what we had at the flight tasting was not the same. And so either that bottle was compromised or it was just completely different juice from the beginning.
Yep. Yeah, it's definitely different juice from the beginning. It was. They lied to us straight up, just because they did give us Pappy, right? That was
I'm
Happy.
pretty confident. I mean, it was only, well, it was the Old Rip 10 and the
Yeah.
Lot B.
yeah,
So it was like the most obtainable ones you can get.
yeah.
So whatever.
And that was they also
is.
had Old Rip 10.
Oh, at your place?
At the Hewitt Hotel, and I didn't get it because per pour, $50.
Nope. That's not
Which
worth
is-
it.
If you for their devil's advocate, like the bottle is worth $800 to $1,000,
Right, unopened.
unopened.
Yeah.
So maybe they spent that, maybe they didn't, but to proportion that out
Right.
in that way, yeah,
Right,
okay,
right.
$50, fine. But the Thomas H. Handy was 20.
And it's.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
I was like, yeah, I want that.
I had Thomas H. Handy for about
Oh my
20 at
goodness.
Lake and Irving.
Yep. And so then it was funny because I had to ask. It was top shelf. I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, how much is that Thomas H. Handy? And the guy's like, the what?
The
I'm
what?
like, yeah, it's the one on the top. You see that right next to the yellow label one. It's the brown and like gold labeled one. He's like, oh yeah, I don't know. Let me ask my manager. And the manager like looks it up. She's like, I don't know. No one's ever ordered that. I'm like,
Well,
What?
let me do you a favor.
yeah.
Let me
kinda-
buy the
kinda
bottle
wanted-
from you for $100.
yeah, I was kind of hoping I could like interject to be like, yeah, 15, 20, and then she had to call their supplier, or like not their like distributor supplier, but like the person who at this
Who sets the
place
pricing.
who sets the pricing, and I guess it's the same person that sources them all for that bar.
How would they not have that set?
Yeah, how would they not know, right? Or on a sheet of paper for them to know,
Right. You would think you would
Or-
have a source that your employees would look and
Yep.
be able to find that
Yep.
without calling. you.
Exactly. So she called and it was like 10 minutes. It took 10 minutes to figure out the
Oh
price
my
of this
goodness. Well, they probably have to figure out, well, what batch is it? What year
Yeah.
is it? What is it exactly?
thing. Yeah.
I don't know. Handy? I can't tell.
Yeah. So after all the deliberation, the guy who I ordered from was like, he forgot about me straight up, you know. And I was like, hey, you know, like the handy, you know, Thomas Handy, how much was it? He's like, oh yeah, $20. But you know, auga.
How much
I
left
just
in the
popped out of
bottle?
my head. Yeah, how much of the bottle? I should have asked. Yeah, super duper good. I mean, I'm a little disappointed to say that I was expecting like lots of rye spice, you know, and lots of intriguing flavors, but it's predominantly one dimensional in brown sugar and caramel. For real. Tasted very bourbon like and not high proof. So, I mean, I guess you could say maybe they filled the bottle with something, you know, but it was so good.
Well,
Like,
if they
it
did,
was,
that is extremely illegal.
yeah, but it was extremely good, tasty, and it definitely was 125 proof because after I was done with it, I was like, oh my goodness. You can feel it, you know. You're drinking it and you're like, this doesn't taste that hot. It's not, it doesn't have spice, it doesn't have, you know, heat to it.
Zach
So-
got floored.
So I only had the one pour. So why I originally said all this was because different places call pours, or they have different
Right,
levels,
yeah.
sizes of pours. This was like a 2-ounce pour
Whoa.
for $20.
That's pretty good.
I was like, heck yeah.
So I get. This goes back even further. So how much do you think this would actually cost?
Yeah, so this an old fashioned made in this way,
$25.
at least I'd say 30. The places that would A have this whiskey on hand and B use these artisanal ingredients is a place that would charge $30 for an old fashioned.
Obviously, this
It would
is-
be like Hewing Hotel
Yeah.
or,
yeah.
you know,
and no one would actually make this. This is just a hypothetical price.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
This would be you walk up to the mixologist at your favorite, you know, whiskey bar.
Make me the
and
best thing
make
you
me,
can.
Yeah, make me the yummiest old fashioned you
Yep.
can.
You know.
And they'd be like, okay, totally. And you know what? That's great. And then yeah, they'd charge you $30 for it.
Yep. So rating it, I think we know where it's gonna go, but
Favorite so far?
Mm-hmm.
It's number 1. McKenna's 2. Old Crow's
Crow.
3. Evan Williams Bottom is 4.
yeah, me too. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna go make the final cocktail.
No. It's so good. The barrel proof. I did not think that would be. I thought for sure it would be too overpowering, and whiskey forward.
Yeah.
And I mean, it kind of was, but it was good. It was
in the
still,
best of
but it was still
ways.
good. Like I was just straight up wrong. I was right that that's what would happen, and wrong that I wouldn't like it. So I think the next evolution in old fashioned presentation is, so you know how margaritas, their traditional representation is the same as the old fashioned. It's a cube of ice with the cocktail around it.
Okube.
But obviously, a lot of people prefer their margaritas either blended or with just crushed ice sitting on the bottom. So, would it be that gross or bad for your old fashioned to be similar, like a blended
That
old
sounds
fashioned
gross.
or crushed ice old fashioned? Yeah, mint julep. Yeah, I mean it's got other things in it, but we've just explored how good like the super sweet sugary flavors kind of mask a lot of things. Would that be so bad? You know, would it be like an old fashioned icy or an old fashioned slushy, but in the best way possible?
Man, we're getting mega bougie right now.
What's the proof on the Kentucky Owl?
59.4. It's 0.3%
Higher. Okay, yeah. So 59.4
But it's like double the
versus
price.
59.1. We're doing Kentucky Owl batch 11. Yep. So we're gonna have it in a blend or in a cocktail before we try it straight up, for scientific reasons.
What was the price on the Elijah Craig? I don't know if we talked about that.
Elijah Craig these days is $80 to me. That's where I find it for. And that one, well, this one was still 70. The B521 was it was still $70 back in the middle of 2021. But I just bought a C922. That's good. It's really good.
It's the closest I've had to the C91.
Yeah, it's the higher proof. It's I guess I didn't get, I didn't do a bunch of tasting notes on it, but yeah, it was a return to form, in my opinion. I liked it better than everything else I have, except for maybe the B520. But I haven't done a head to head. It's higher. I think it's higher proof than the B520. So that's always good.
Yeah, drop those cubes. The top cube is literally doing nothing.
Yeah. It's fun to cocktail making is a very aesthetic experience.
Aesthetic.
Because alcohol has a more viscous quality than water, and we're doing syrup, and the colors involved are just very enticing to the eyes. That's why I think every bar needs to have like those illuminated, lights, or at least pieces of the bar need to be illuminated so that when you put your glass over it, it glows the drink, because it looks really good when you do that.
It is satisfying.
It makes it look better, and it gives you the placebo effect of it tasting better, and that's just a fact.
Like How to Drinks Bar.
Yeah, like How to Drinks Bar. I still can't believe how good that Old Crow ended up being for that old fashioned. It's unfair. It's super candied, and it has. I just don't believe it. I don't believe that that's straight bourbon, or 3-year bourbon, and that's it. It's got it. They're lying, and they just aren't legally forced to tell us what they're lying about. There's a little special something in there.
Drink the prune juice, Grandma. Ooh, that might just be orangey, but man, that smells good.
It smells the same as the other one. I think it's, when you get to this high proof, it does have a little bit of evaporation quality to it with the orange, and I think it just tastes like spicy oranges. Or sorry, it smells like spicy oranges.
It's effervescent.
So this is it's the Kentucky Owl Batch 11, the first one without Dixon Deadman from Kentucky Owl. And we are having it first and foremost in a cocktail. This is it's like $320.
Yeah. This is our little dig at Kentucky Owl for, well, I guess, was it Dixon Deadman that left, or was it Kentucky Owl that
Deadman left.
forced it? But did they change?
There might have been a disagreement.
Yeah,
on
like they forced
where they
forced
to
his
go.
hand,
They didn't want to make him leave, but they kind of underhandedly made him leave by
Exactly.
like
That's what I
changing the
mean.
direction that they were going, and
That's
he's
what I
like,
mean.
I don't like this anymore.
Yeah, $330.
This better be a $330.
This is like a-
This was a gift.
This is like $100
to myself.
old fashioned. This is like a $60 old fashioned.
Oh, it's probably yeah. Yeah, the smell is the same.
Let's give it a taste.
Ooh,
Wow. I like that. What a bomb. Oak bomb.
That is spicy.
but not ethanol.
No, it's actually quite tart. I'm gonna be weird. It's a weird tartness to it. It dries, so it has the drying taste.
Tastes
so
like a-
quickly.
Tastes like a dry wine.
I'm not sure where I would put it yet.
Mm-hmm.
It leaves your tongue so dry.
This finishes like whiskey. Like the syrup. I do think this actually it cuts through is the word, because when you finish, when your palate's done with the tasting, it just tastes like I just drank a lot of whiskey. Dang.
This is a complex.
This is
and,
this is the first old fashioned we've had that I could say agree. This is complex.
It's too much.
You got to
to,
dig
like,
through this.
comprehend.
This cocktail is more complex in flavor than I've had in a lot of whiskeys,
Mm-hmm.
and more distinct notes. Man, it is more of a caramelized sugarness to it, and less of that brown sugared or black walnut is coming through.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like a really inherently sweet whiskey that you're just having on the rocks.
Yeah. So you don't think you used fewer dashes of bitters
No.
in this? This was the same.
I watched him make it.
Yeah.
It didn't look like it.
It's gonna be an interesting like we'll have to come back to this Kentucky Owl at some point. But for now, it's like, oh yeah, we had it in a cocktail. And we have absolutely no idea how it tastes like. I did try it before, but I will restrain my thoughts on it until it comes again. I don't. This is the polar opposite of the Old Crow
and the McKenna.
No. I'm saying this is on one side, and the Old Crow is on another side.
Yeah.
Whereas the Old Crow, you had the ingredients shining through, and being the star of the cocktail. This is the opposite. This is pushing the ingredients back and saying, "Hang on, this is my moment. I'm taking."
And the whiskey is just like.
But it kind of, the ingredients kind of fill in the gaps and make it sweeter and have a little bit more rich body to it than normal whiskey would have. And so that's why I'm saying these are opposite ends of the spectrum.
Bet they are.
This is so confusing.
I don't think it's my favorite, though.
If someone were to give me this at a bar, I would be confused. I'd be like, what did you put in this? Because I can't tell what's in this. I don't get the black walnut. I don't get
the syrup.
The syrup. I mean, I guess I could look at the Kentucky Owl and be like, okay, if you put that in here, where is it? You know, it's so forward on that. But as a whole, the combination of those ingredients, it's really, really good.
Yeah.
This is fantastic.
I'm amazed how different it is from
the rest of them.
The rest of them, including the Henry or the Elijah Craig.
Yep. I'd almost say that this is beyond old fashioned. It
is broken through.
It's broken through.
This is the new fashioned.
Because it doesn't taste like an old fashioned.
No, it tastes like a really good whiskey.
It tastes like whiskey. So for that reason alone, I'd say it's not the best old fashioned of the five, because we've just gone beyond.
It's no longer. It's almost no longer a cocktail. It just tastes like a fantastically well-rounded bourbon on the rocks.
Yeah,
we're using
which sounds terrible. Yeah. It sounds like it's gone backwards.
Yeah,
but we're using something that should not be used.
It's really pleasant, super pleasant.
Yeah, I don't know exactly where. I think I know where I would put this. So same question again. Let's say you got this served at the bar. Thoughts?
Oh, it's great.
Okay.
I would be confused.
Yeah. No,
I was kind of rehashing again what he said, but
if someone gave this to me, I'd say no, I didn't like it because I was expecting something different.
Really?
Yep.
You would say you didn't like it.
Yep. I do like it now. Like I can objectively say this is super tasty, but if I ordered an old fashioned, you gave me this, I would honestly say like this is something is wrong with this.
It's breaking the mold too much.
It breaks the mold too much.
Even compared to the Evan Williams bottled and bond, because the Evan Williams bottled and bond was a lot more ethanol-y.
That's true. Yeah, but that one was super sweet and syrupy still.
But I expect that from kind of a crappy bar.
This doesn't. Sure, yeah, you might expect that. This just doesn't have the viscosity that the other ones did. And so I'd be like, oh, I think I'd probably put the drink on the table, and I wouldn't say like, hey, you forgot to do something, but I'd be like, hey, what kind of syrup did you put in this? That's what I would have asked. Because if I would have got this, I would have assumed they put some kind of rail bourbon in there, and then put some funky syrup. I think that's how you would replicate this flavor with rail bourbon. Is like, oh, you made some custom syrup, you little dog,
you little minx.
You know. And then if he or she were to respond, no, I just used Kentucky Owl Batch 11.
First of all, I would be like,
why would you do that?
I'm leaving because I'm not spending $60 on an old fashioned.
Carter he just runs out the door.
Zoidberg out the door with my hands in the air.
It'd be like you are simultaneously the best
and worst
mixologist,
bartender.
but also you have absolutely no idea of what bourbon you should be using in a cocktail, and you somehow picked one of your most expensive bourbons.
Now, if they were to charge me, because I could feel like this would happen, is that new bartender, somebody doesn't know what they're doing, accidentally puts Kentucky Owl in there, charges you $20 for it. That's a good night.
Well, sure. If you know it's Kentucky Owl, but like I couldn't tell.
No, you wouldn't. Know.
I wouldn't.
You
know.
wouldn't be able to know.
You would. None of these.
I would know.
You would be able to pick out a bourbon.
Maybe the Old Crow if I had Old Crow more often, because that was pretty.
I mean, you would, like Old Crow, just because it's kind of rail. Like, you would know if it was rail just because it tastes like crap.
It doesn't taste like
No,
crap.
that was
No.
That was good.
But, like, a different rail bourbon, because, like, I've
like-
had some really...
like a Kessler's or like Thompson's. I forgot I was gonna buy
Thompson's for this.
Thompson's whiskey. It's like a blended bourbon.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
yeah. I've had some really, really, really bad
No,
old fashions that are just rail bourbon, and they are just gross.
I could have gone cheaper on as far as Old Crow speaking, but I think the whole point is the cheapest bourbon, not a different category. At least in this point, and for that,
I'm impressed.
I am okay with that Old Crow.
Yeah.
Like, I would for sure be super, super duper excited to do like I don't know what we would call it, a plastic bottle off or something, where it's like you just find the cheapest bourbons and we do a blind of them. We got H&H, Old Crow, Old Grandad. We got
Earl Settler.
That's not
Earl
plastic.
Settler.
Well,
But the cheapest bourbons.
That's glass.
The
That's
cheapest.
that's not cheap. That's got a glass
I,
bottle.
well, I think technically Old Grandad is too, but I'm not 100% sure on that. Actually, that was the leader. The 175 might be plastic, but I mean, put in that context, the 175 of Wild Turkey 101 was like $35, double the price.
Yeah. That's not bad for a decent old fashioned.
Yeah. So final ratings on the Old Crow, and then I think we do final thoughts as a whole on the 5 bourbons we used in the old fashioned regarding pricing, because that was the theme in this was, does more price equal more better? So beginning with this Kentucky Owl as far as your rating.
all right. Beginning with Kentucky. This is not better. This is 4. This is 4 out of 5. I think Elijah Craig tasted not as complex, but was a better old fashioned. The problem with this is this should have been a different drink. Or if you're gonna use Kentucky Owl,
It's got to be boozy.
you shouldn't have made an old fashioned. We should have made, and if it's gonna be a cocktail,
Manhattan.
If it's going to be a $300 cocktail.
Seriously, no, because the sugar is doing it no favors at all. In fact, it makes nothing better. Even though we're using great syrup, we are, I'm assuming, actually tainting the flavor of this whiskey. So if it's gonna be, we're not gonna drink it straight, and we're gonna make it a cocktail, then we want to add complementary flavors. Sugar is not one that would complement this. Maybe, I think the orange does. I think it's a citrusy lime thing, and I guess an orange liqueur, maybe. So then, yes, you could say a Manhattan or a Boulevardier or Boulevardier. I think this is the Boulevardier winner, but we're not doing a Boulevardier competition. This is old fashioned. So This is 4th out of 5th. Elijah Craig's the best. And then does more price equal more better? To a point, yes, it does. And we hit that point around $50.
Yeah.
$50 to $60, and the bottled and bond too. Like that's I think 50% is that's the number to hit for this ratio. The three parts whiskey, quarter parts syrup. That's crazy. We're using 3 ounces of whiskey and a quarter ounce of syrup.
That syrup is
It's
pronounced.
that syrup
It's
that
so strong.
Yeah.
So if you're trying to match this consistency, 50%, I think that's the number to look for ABV.
Okay.
I would agree with that.
Carter?
Well, on the Kentucky Owl, I would definitely say it's below the Elijah Craig. Like, it was really good, just kind of not exactly your traditional old-fashioned, which I'm not necessarily sure that was what we were going for. The Elijah Craig had a lot of the traditional old-fashioned flavors there, and it didn't really kind of blow them out like kind of the Kentucky Owl did, but it was really good in its own specific way. So I would probably put it going from like best to worst. I would go like Elijah Craig. Well, actually, I would go Elijah Craig, McKenna, Kentucky Owl,
Old Crow.
actually, I take that back. Elijah Craig, McKenna, Old Crow, Kentucky Owl, and then Evan Williams.
Whoa.
Wow.
I am not going to argue with that, but I am in disbelief. I'm like, whoa.
You know, I can't disagree too much with that, or I can't object. Would be
Not saying that.
No,
not saying that it wasn't good.
No, I totally,
just
I totally understand what
different.
you're saying, and I said this, that the Kentucky Owl and the Old Crow are different ends of the spectrum as far as old fashions go.
Yeah.
Like there is a one end where the alcohol bourbon is shining through and the highlight, and then there is the ingredients are priority.
Yeah.
That the ingredients is an example with the Old Crow of being the priority, whereas the Kentucky Owl obviously is the bourbon is the highlight.
Mm-hmm.
Those are two different things. Like
You almost can't compare them.
it's almost like you have to be in the mood for one.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, I really want something real sweet, but not like
Not boozy.
but not like I don't want like oh man, I want a cocktail, but I don't want a margarita or like a screwdriver or something. I'm like, I want something that's sweet,
A little bit subtler.
but yeah. And in this, you do the Old Crow. It's got chocolate, brown sugar, caramel, the dark notes as far as sweetness goes. And then sometimes you can be like, I don't feel like bourbon, but I kind of want a cocktail, but something that hits a little heavy. Elijah Craig or the Kentucky Owl. If you want to spend $300 and buy one, and then
use it in a
Who wouldn't?
and then use it in a mixer.
I don't know who I used it. Obviously, that's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
But no, I totally understand, and it's like those are opposite ends. As far as my ranking, it's a little bit tough because it is. It's like I would at times prefer either ends of the spectrum.
Yeah. I completely agree.
But I would definitely put the Elijah Craig top, at least this batch.
Yeah.
Then the question is, do I want the Kentucky Owl first, or do I want the Henry McKenna? Because the Henry McKenna was more well-rounded.
Mm-hmm.
I think I would put the Henry McKenna second, followed most of the times by the Kentucky Owl, then Old Crow, then in this example, the Evan Williams BIB.
Yeah.
But there would be times where I would probably swap the Old Crow with the Kentucky Owl.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's something to say and be impressed of the Old Crow, or if that's just like the ingredients to be impressed by.
I know someone who, we're talking about coffee, and they're like, I love like artisan coffee. That's their thing. But they said sometimes they just want Folgers. They just want that cup of Folgers. Because is it that good? No.
No,
But
but
it's a distinct basic flavor that no one else matches.
it fills that
And it's not
itch.
because it's cheap. It's just because, I mean, it is cheap, but it kind of is the foundation, the basis of what they like about this product. The Old Crow is the foundation of what I like about the Old Fashioned. I mean, if everything just was built off of that,
Yeah.
and it only got better and better, we'd be on the perfect track.
Yeah. It takes a back seat,
Yeah,
but it's not so removed
yeah,
from impacting flavor where it's like it's just the flavors of the syrup and the bitters are so pronounced at drowning out the alcohol. The bourbon is actually, at least comparing these, surprisingly present, but also it's allowing the ingredients to take the forward position.
Yeah.
And that's Old Crow. I think, in all intents and purposes, is liqueur. Straight up, it's
Okay.
not. I never drink that straight.
It's
ever.
too thick.
I wouldn't do it. And then also, I wouldn't do it over ice. I wouldn't do it straight, and I wouldn't make it the total foundation for something. But I could see using Old Crow as the minority in other drinks too.
So you wouldn't use it as you're saying you would never use it as an old fashioned.
No. I guess I would. I'd pick a lot of things over it.
Okay.
But I think that would actually be a better addition in the place of like a maple liqueur or something like that. Because there's no such thing as like a whiskey liqueur, because you just use whiskey, obviously. But that Old Crow has so many flavor profiles for the money.
Yukon Jack.
Yeah, I mean, it tastes like a flavored whiskey.
I was
but
going
it
to say,
ain't.
what about the Knob Creek smoked maple?
I haven't had that. I don't
Yeah,
know.
but
I
that's
think
not
that
a liqueur. That's a flavored whiskey.
I suppose technically, but I think at that point it's
So both of those then would be in
Because-
contention for that.
Because
the Yukon Jack is not
Yukon Jack.
that is not a contender for an old fashioned.
No, not at all. But that is classified as a liqueur.
Yes,
And-
because it has sugar added. I don't know the
It's a-
definition exactly of the liqueur, but
I think it's a honey mixture with Canadian whiskey.
why would Yukon Jack not have Jack Daniels?
Because it's not a Jack Daniels product.
I thought it was,
I didn't think it was.
but it's the Yukon. Man, it's gonna be a revelation for me.
Yeah, so liqueur is just a French word for alcohol that's served in small quantities.
It's a Sazerac.
Oh.
Well, I did look it up, and it is a Canadian whiskey. I thought that was a Jack Daniels product.
A derivative.
Man, yeah.
Yukon Jack is pretty bomb by itself, though.
No, it ain't.
Oh, it is.
No, it is not.
You got to put it in the freezer.
You
So you don't taste it?
nah. When you
It's
take
syrup. at
when you
that-
take
no,
that
it is.
when you take that bad boy skiing. Oh,
Yeah, sure. Fireball is also an amazing ski
you just
Ski
forget
whiskey.
about all your pain.
I think I would take the Yukon Jack
over
actually.
Fireball.
Yeah. Have
Fireball-
you had Yukon?
Not
Fireball
straight.
Is,
Man,
oh,
not
Yukon
straight.
straight is delicious.
It's been
actually.
a long time since I've had it, but
I'd rather put alcohol in milk and drink
Oh.
that.
It's not that thick.
No, I'm just saying that I'd rather have something as gross as that than
It's really not
straight
that
Yukon
gross,
Jack.
though.
have you? But have you had Yukon?
No, I haven't. Straight up. But
So-
you're describing something
I
as
will.
sweet and
It's not terribly
on the
sweet.
level of what we like. I already don't even want to have Old Crows straight, and now we're trying to compare that to Yukon Jack.
It's like if you mixed simple syrup, like a
Uh-huh.
1-to-1 ratio, simple syrup and
honey
whiskey.
and whiskey. Okay.
It's not terrible.
Like it's like we wouldn't have it,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not like okay, I can see why people would like this because it's just sugar.
It at least has some. It's 100 proof. It is 100 proof. I will say that.
Yeah.
So it has some kick to it.
It's got some.
It's not like it's 80 proof and it's
What was
just
the?
like trash whiskey.
Where's the saying originate? Where it'll get you drunk.
Oh, that's Uncle Jemima's all
Uncle
malt
Jemima's
whiskey.
malt liquor. It'll get you drunk.
Yukon Jack. It'll get you drunk.
Yeah.
But yeah, that kind of was
Kinda
the final
wraps it
thoughts. That wraps it up. Batch 11 Kentucky Owl. Keep an eye out for it on a future episode.
Buy
where
it for your next
try
mixer. You'll love it.
It actually came out in March.
Yep.
But you could probably still find it because it's $330.
Yeah, no one's probably buying it
It's
up.
in the glass case that no one looks at.
Yeah.
And if you do look at it, you know you're spending too much money.
What would be the next cocktail you guys would want to try?
Based off, next thing I want to do for an old fashioned is I want to try Woodford Reserve Double Oak.
I can tell you right now, it makes a bomb old fashioned. That's
You've
all
had
I
it?
use.
It's
Usually,
all he uses.
It's got
I
made
use-
out of money with
Yeah,
his
I'm
OnlyFans account.
so glad you mentioned that for this podcast.
I use Woodford
and
Double
we
Oaks
didn't do it.
for the Manhattans and my
Oh.
old fashions. Holy crap, are they good?
I guess I would say for next cocktail, I would probably like to come back to try cocktails I've never had before. You know, we the original cocktail episode we did was I made the Negroni.
Mm-hmm.
I would either, at very minimum, like to do a bourbon Negroni or a different cocktail altogether that doesn't probably have like a gin in it, but something
Mhm.
else, maybe like a whiskey-based cocktail,
You
and
can-
try it. But
You can actually, if you swap the gin out for a bourbon or a rye in the Negroni, very good. I've had a couple that are very delicious.
cool. So that's what I would like to do. I guess I'd like to do an untraditional cocktail that I've at least untraditional in the fact that I haven't had it,
Sure.
and then try to make it.
Okay. I like that. Let's do that for our next cocktail episode
In the future.
in the future.
In the foot to
Carter, is that something that you'd like to do?
sure. Sounds good.
All right. Well, so hopefully next time on the next new episode we have our blend off 2022.
I'm a win.
We're getting close to December. I'm a little worried that we might fall into the next year on this 2022 edition.
We got this. No.
But
it's done. Mine's done. Yours is done. Carter, we're going to make sure you make it today or tomorrow.
I'll
Yeah.
do it. I'll do it.
and I will be out for a little bit because I have surgery
Oh, that's
next
right.
week.
All right.
So we won't be able to record next week.
You know, he's getting some body parts
Pins.
enlarged.
I'm getting an extra arm.
He's getting a third
For
leg.
the mini bottles I have that I have, I just got like
Yep.
But-
He's getting a flannel surgically attached to his
Oh.
torso.
third leg, my butt.
Getting a third leg.
Hmm.
Better balance. Thank you for joining us on this episode of the Whiskey House Pub House, episode 51, mind you. And
We'll see you next time.
time.